Hey everybody, this is Grant Thomas from Visas Association, bringing you another Q&A session where the question that we're covering off is, if I get a country-specific Schengen visa, what other Schengen countries can I visit? Now, this question is super important as it depends on the visa type that you get approved for. So at the end of the video, I'm actually going to walk you through the 3 key visa types that really influence the answer to this question. But before we get to that, for those who don't really know what this relates to, is that there are different visa types when you go to the Schengen region. And so what influences these Schengen visa types? So there's one really important one, which is what is the reason for your travel, right? So the most popular one out of all the 14 million approved Schengen visas that happen every single year is tourism, which makes complete sense. So this is people traveling to Europe or most of Europe, which is in the Schengen region, in order to get approval for them to go and see sites, go and do activities, enjoy culinary experiences, etc. So that is the most common one. The second one is work, so people going there to work for a specified period of time. Some is business, to go and do business in the Schengen region. You've also got students, you've got children, you've also got people visiting or their family, all within the Schengen region. Now, most of them do not sort of impact what countries you can visit. However, just because you've got access to one country, or just because you've got a Schengen visa, doesn't mean that you have access to multiple countries. And what controls this is actually the entry criteria that you have for your visa. And so I'll dive into a little bit more detail. When we fill out our visa application form and we complete our cover letter, etc., all of the requirements that we provide will support what we are asking for. So one of the examples is a multiple entry visa. This means that we can go in and out of the Schengen region for up to a total of 90 days within a 180-day period. Now, the only way that you are going to get that visa is if you have a reason to go in and out of so many different countries, right? If you're going to Italy and just seeing family just within Italy, and there is no reason for you to go anywhere else outside of Italy, they are not going to approve a multiple entry visa because there is no reason for it. You become a bigger risk to the Schengen region if they approve you to travel outside of there. And also, if you didn't ask for it, you won't receive it, right? And so that's just an example of how the visa types really influence what countries you can go and visit. So to answer the question exactly, there's 3 key scenarios from my experience that really impact this. The first one is if you've got a single entry visa. Now, usually, from what I've seen, you are not confined to a country. If you get access to the Schengen visa, you get access to the Schengen region. What is really going to control you here is the fact that your visa will say a single entry. So this does not allow you to go out of the Schengen region and back into the Schengen region, right? So you can get into the Schengen region, but you can not go sort of around and out of the Schengen region, back in, out, in, right? So it gives you one entry into the Schengen region. Now you can travel around the Schengen region because that's exactly how it operates. But again, your single entry, once in and out, and that is it. There's nothing else. The second type is a double entry. So this means you can go in, out, and in again. Again, this depends on the requirements that you have relevant to your Schengen visa. So for example, you can go into Italy and then out into Croatia, which is not currently a country of the Schengen region, and then go back in again, where you would then need a double entry. And so this is really valuable for people who are traveling around Europe that don't really have a definite sort of in and out. Right? But the best and most applicable visa that we always recommend everybody to go and get is what we call the multiple entry visa. What this means is it doesn't actually matter too much. You can literally go into any of the 26 countries within the Schengen region and travel in and out in order for you to just enjoy what each one of the 26 different Schengen region countries have to offer. This means that they restrict the number of days in total that you have as opposed to the number of entries that you can receive, right? And so in a single entry, you can only enter once, and then once you leave, it's done. Where the multiple entry means that you can enter at unlimited amounts of times. So you could be flying in from the Philippines, and you could fly in on July, and then you could leave in the 10th of July, and you could actually fly back to the Schengen region in September and still access the Schengen region within the same visa that you've had approved. Now, the reason for this is because the multiple entry duration is 180 days, and you can have a total of 90 days within the Schengen region, right? But it means that once you sort of go beyond that 180 days, it means that then you need to go and reapply for another visa to actually enter. So on that, just know that they don't explicitly call out a very specific country that you're allowed to enter. It is a region. So you get approval to enter the region, and then you can just change it. So if you've got approval for a single entry for Italy, and you go into Spain and stay in Spain, for example, that's completely fine because it's part of the Schengen region. However, if you want to go out of the region and come back in, you will need to get another visa if you had a single entry. So very simple sort of question. Hopefully this answers exactly what you've asked. But if you've got any more questions, feel free to add them in the comments below, and we'll be sure to address most of them. And please click the like button, as it helps these videos get out to other people who are looking for a Schengen visa just like yourself. And clicking the subscribe button means that if there are any changes to the Schengen visa requirements that come out, you'll be first to be notified, so that you can adapt and update your application process so that what you're submitting is not out of date and with the potential of being rejected or refused. And again, I'll link to a couple of videos around me that should be able to help you deep dive a little bit further into your Schengen visa and hopefully support your trip through Europe as well. So once again, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you on the next one.